All right. It's the day after this draft swap with the Eagles and the Browns. Had time to think things over here, digest things, and I'm not as bothered by this as I was yesterday, but I still wouldn't have made this trade. Regardless of me feeling better about this trade, I still wouldn't have made this trade. And one thing I keep hearing people say, well, if you look at it, it's just a couple draft picks. It's this year's first round that the Eagles are going to swap, number 8 to number 2. The Browns also get the 3rd and 4th round for this year. Next year, they get the Eagles' first round, and then the year after that, they get the Eagles' second round pick. So, 5 picks, not that big a deal. Eagles already had two third and fourth round picks this year, so you still get a 3rd and 4th round pick this year from the Eagles. Still wish we had that 2nd round pick, Chip Kelly, dickhead. Thanks a lot. Anyway, so on paper, it's really not that bad. They gave up a few picks, but what people are failing to realize is you have to lump in what was given to Miami to move from 13 to 8. Because right now, if you put that trade on the table, or yesterday, if the Eagles put that trade on the table, if Jeff and Howie put that trade on the table, saying okay, we're going to swap the 13 and the 2 with you, and then we're going to give you these 5 picks. Cleveland would be like, thanks, no, bye, get the fuck out of here. Because that is a world of difference drafting 8 compared to 13. So you have to factor in Kiko Alonso and Byron Maxwell being given to Miami that got you from 13 to 8. So you have the Eagles trading basically 5 draft picks and 2 players to move up to the number 2 spot in the draft. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, when has that logic ever been successful? Trading multiple players and multiple draft picks to go up and get a franchise quarterback, or franchise any player. It doesn't even have to be a quarterback. Oh, God, choking on the thought of that. When has that ever worked? It hasn't. It never has. The closest you got to that was when the Giants wanted Eli Manning and they set up that trade with San Diego where they swapped first-round draft picks, and then San Diego, that was in 2004, and then 2005, the Giants gave up their 1st and 5th round pick to San Diego. All right, so you had 2 draft picks and a swapped pick that to get the Giants to move up. That's the closest you got for something like this happening, for getting a franchise player. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so tentative about this, why I'm so hesitant to accept this and be happy, because the Eagles are doing something so off the wall. And with the NFL specifically, as much like any other sport, repetitiveness of what worked in the past works in the future. Very rarely does something completely off the wall, out of left field, that took everyone off guard and saying wow, I can't believe they did all that to get this, and it worked. All right, the sports aren't really designed just fundamentally to work like that. Does it mean getting Carson Wentz is going to be a failure and there's absolutely no way the Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz? Of course it doesn't mean that. But the thing about it is I would feel so much more confident going into this, not giving up so much to do it. So, multiple players, multiple draft picks, and again, that's not saying I thought Kiko Alonso or Byron Maxwell were going to amount to a hill of beans here, because I think they both suck, but the bottom line is those players were given up to help you get this draft pick, and they have to be weighed in on the equation. So this ain't just giving the Browns some draft picks to get to the number 2 spot, because you got to factor in what they did to Miami as well here. And again, you tell me a time a team has given up multiple players and multiple draft picks to get that future franchise player. And that brings us to old Carson Wentz. And yes, it's going to be Carson Wentz. All right. Goff is going with the number one pick to LA for the main reason that he should be going to LA, in that he is more probable to be NFL ready based on the level of competition he had in the program he played for in college, because North Dakota State is a full rung below the level of competition that Goff saw. And that's just the bottom line. That's not saying it's not good football that you're going to see North Dakota State and Northern Iowa play against North Dakota State or anything like that. But it's a full rung below your Oregons, your Alabamas, your USC's, college football programs like that. So that makes me go, well, why am I to believe this guy that played against lesser talent that less and less guys that he played with and played against are even ever going to sniff an NFL turf in the history of their lives as an NFL player, compared to Goff, who's played with NFL players, played with future NFL players, played against many future and going to be drafted NFL players? Why should I be happy that we're getting this guy from a second rung college school? All right, it doesn't. It doesn't bode well for my confidence, nor should it. But after examining things, after looking at this kid, what he can do, seeing his highlight package, and I know anyone can look good. You can make Tim Tebow look like the next Joe Montana. If you want to just even single out just a highlight package of his NFL footage. Yes, there's actually that many touchdown passes he threw that would make him look like a Joe Montana if you just looked at his highlight package. Anyway, and that's not thinking I think that he's anywhere near Joe Montana. Okay, if you didn't understand that, then eat me. Anyway, and seeing this kid's story, seeing Went's story, and understanding and seeing that he was his valedictorian, and his high school valedictorian, that he had a 4.0 GPA, that he's very, very genuinely book smart intelligent. Now, does book smart intelligent automatically mean you're a better, more gifted athlete in any way, shape, or form? No, of course it doesn't. But the one thing that eases a little bit of confidence in this situation to me is that, you know, if this kid played for a second rung school and he looks like he has all the tools and all the ability, then maybe he'll be a little bit quicker to understanding and adapting to the NFL style of play, which is two full steps ahead of the college program that he played in. All right, so I'm eased in knowing that he is such a smart kid. That makes me feel better. And that makes me feel better with this decision. Now, would I still have done this? No. And knowing all that, no. Because one of the things that, well, on top of everything else, but one of the things that really starts to make me scratch my head is that, was this a move done just to spite Chip Kelly, or was spiting Chip Kelly one of the catalysts that ultimately got Howie and Jeff Lurie to go, yeah, we should go ahead and do this because Chip Kelly won't like it? If this really was one of the key cogs to catalyzing this trade with the Cleveland Browns, then that is some bitter ex-girlfriend shit, and this ain't the high school lunchroom. All right, I don't have time for ownership and a general manager to be that bitter over the last girlfriend that came through the house. I mean, and I really think that might be the case. Because last season, Chip Kelly might have been like, all right, look, man, I thought we were really going to get a deal done to get Mariota here. But listen, we'll rough it out this year with Bradford. Let me tell you, there's this kid in North Dakota State, and trust me, I know college football talent, and I know specifically college quarterback football talent. People are going to sleep on this guy. This kid, Carson Wentz, He's the real deal, guys. And we're going to go after him. We're going to do what it takes to make sure he is a Philadelphia Eagle next year. And then Jeff at week 16 said, anyways, get the fuck out of here. And then once Chip left the room, Jeff and Howie came in and they were like, you know what? Let's get his boy. That guy Chip was talking about last year, what was his name? Carson something or other? I don't know. I don't get many North Dakota games on my TV. Let's get that guy. Let's do what it takes to get that guy ahead of Chip. Because we know he's going to get an NFL coaching job somewhere. Probably San Francisco because they're dumb enough to hire him. Right? That's probably what Jeff and Howie were talking about. So, it does make me wonder why this was done. Because when you look at who is bothered the most and who should be bothered the most with this, Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford, the guy who could have tested free agency waters, signed a bigger, longer deal probably elsewhere, stayed here in Philadelphia, stayed with familiarity, stayed with players he's played with, stayed with a system he was comfortable with, and stayed with a new coach that he felt he could do big things with. Now I ask of you, when you look at Sam Bradford's stats and look at how Sam Bradford ended that season, what more do you want from your franchise quarterback? Because one stat I want you to look at is the number of drop passes, oh, by the way, in which the Eagles led the league in. I know I'm a broken record constantly repeating this, but Sam Bradford cannot catch the passes he throws. Unless he throws a real short pass to himself, but that's ridiculous. And I look at his receivers, I'm like, these receivers ain't anything special. This guy almost made the playoffs on top of that. Sam Bradford, I thought, did every bit of anything that was necessary to prove that he deserves to at least start here another year. And now he's like, well, shit, I'm not wanted. And I'm probably going to be traded. Because they're going to go after Carson Wentz. You don't trade up to get a big pick like that in the draft unless you're going quarterback, franchise quarterback. But here's the thing. What if Sam Bradford doesn't get traded? He's your starting quarterback this season. What if Sam Bradford and the Eagles wide receivers all of a sudden, what if they stop dropping passes? What if Sam Bradford has a Pro Bowl season? Now, you may think that's impossible. I think it's very probable. I think Sam Bradford has every skill and tool that any Pro Bowl quarterback could possess. And if his wide receivers catch balls, he will be a Pro Bowl quarterback. What do? Bench him the next year? Try and trade him so you can't get him traded again. But then again, who trades away a Pro Bowl quarterback? So you're stuck with him again. Say he has another Pro Bowl season. What are you doing? What? You letting Wentz sit that next year again? You have a back-to-back Pro Bowl season quarterback. Then what do? Not re-sign him? So that's another reason. And again, I ain't that hopeful that Sam Bradford's going to be a back-to-back Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. But what if he is? What if he is? You've put yourself in a circumstance here in Philadelphia where you have to wonder, what if? What if we can't get rid of Sam Bradford to the Jets or the Broncos? Or they just want to say, like, okay, we'll give you a 4th round pick for him. That's not enough. So what if you're just going to let Carson Wentz sit on the bench and rot? It's just such a terrible set of circumstances to bring Carson Wentz here on top of a fan base that has a fuse this big. Actually, that's way bigger. This big. That's how long the fuse is here in Philadelphia to tolerate with some quarterback rebuilding type shit. All right, we don't want to see a 2-year developmental project. We want to see a guy that's going to start contributing in his first season here. Let's be real. Let's be the fuck real. We don't want to see a guy, even if he just comes in at garbage time this first year, I don't want to see ducks. I don't want to see a guy sitting in the pocket for 10 seconds and getting smashed from behind. I don't want to see a guy throwing up 2 interceptions late in a game. If he only comes in at garbage time, and then the crowd tears him a new asshole, which it will. And then I gotta wonder, boy, if this kid from North Dakota State, who played with no pressure, or not as much pressure as a top tier school, I should say. Like I'm sure North Dakota and Northern Iowa have a great rivalry or some shit, but it's not exactly, Auburn versus Alabama or something like that, or USC versus Oregon. It isn't exactly that. Hell, it isn't even the Army-Navy game. So a kid that's, not really had that much competitive pressure. Because he's not really compete for a job or anything like that. So now all of a sudden it's like, oh God, I'm getting booed. I threw an interception in the 4th quarter in garbage time. Shit. Do I have enough to get it done when I'm the man? Got a lot of worries over this, guys. A lot of worries. And if I was the Browns, I'd be happy. I mean, you're welcome, Browns. You're welcome. I got a lot of worries over this. But at the same time, I have optimism and hope that, someone with a football mind greater than mine saw this kid, saw he was the real deal, and knows he's going to be the real deal. And I hope whoever that is, they were right. Anyway, I'm going to support this kid because what else am I going to do? It's what we got, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm optimistic. I'm excited as well. I wish we had all those draft picks and we didn't have to give up all the draft picks to get this. But man, I'm like, do we have another McNabb caliber quarterback that's going to give us a chance to be in the dance every year? A very probable chance to make it to the final dance year after year after year after year? We can at least get that again? Because I want that, and I haven't felt that since McNabb has been on this team. Anyway, that's just my expanded thoughts on this whole situation. I'm hopeful as much as I'm much more hesitant about this and much more fearful that this is going to backfire. Because again, you don't see teams do this. You just don't. And if someone thought it was going to work, you would have seen it be pulled off by now. Anyway, I know that people are going to say, well, it's because the Browns are dumb enough to commit to this deal. That's why. I'm surprised that the universe didn't just split in half and then swallow itself up whole after the perennial never gonna wins or never have ones. The Browns and Eagles got together, and I'm surprised it wasn't a 3-way trade with the Lions. And oh my God, Earth would have just imploded. Anyway. Again, I hope this isn't just some bitter ex-girlfriend type shit between Howie, Jeff, and Chip Kelly. Because, I'm rooting for Chip Kelly to be an utter failure there in San Francisco. But at the end of the day, I really don't give a shit. I'm not going to sit there and hope his quarterback gets injured or anything like that. Chip, do your thing. The Eagles will do their thing. Howie and Jeff, don't worry about Chip, all right? Don't worry about him until you have to play him, hopefully in just the regular season. Anyway. Oh, and on a side note, Ezekiel Elliott's going number 4 to the Cowboys. That guy is going to be the next Emmitt Smith, and Jerry knows it. On that note, fuck the Dallas Cowboys, fuck Chip Kelly. And the Flyers won a game. That concludes our Flyers portion of this. And by the way, I would have slapped every single fucking player that threw a bracelet on the ice in Game 3. That's enough about that, because I'm just going to get furious talking about that anymore. Have a good day, everyone. And don't forget to rotate your tires. So many people neglect rotating their tires. God damn, that was random. But not as random as stopping in the middle of a